Hey guys, you're watching the Online Zone here on Card Player TV. I'm your host, Julio Rodriguez, and today we're going to talk to Luke IWEARGOGGLES Staudenmaier, who's had success both live and online. And we may even get to a special guest. So let's go to Luke on the phone. Alright, Luke, how you been?
I've been fantastic, Julio. What about yourself?
I've been pretty good. I want to talk a little bit about our Online Player of the Year race. Now, in 2007, you had a pretty good year. You finished 16th overall. And then last year, you finished 29th. So you have been putting in a lot of volume to get those results up, right?
Well, it's not, I think, based on card players' standings. I don't think it's entirely based on volume, but more or less the volume you put in the bigger buy-in tournaments. For instance, I play most of the bigger nightly tournaments that have larger prize pools, and so I think by playing those, that helps me in the rankings. But other sites like Pocket Fives are more based strictly on how many tournaments you play exactly.
Now, would you say that since you've turned 21 and transitioned to live play that you've cut back a lot in your online play?
Maybe a little bit in 2008, but I honestly don't think I like the live arena as much as a lot of the other online guys. I'm more of a homebody. I like it here in Pittsburgh.
Now, you say that, but you also are a proud owner of a WPT final table. I mean, it's tough to make one of those and still say that you'd prefer online play.
Yeah, I mean, I have run good in live tournaments, but it just doesn't appeal to me as much to travel somewhere, that's not like the PCA or something, and kind of be stuck in a hotel room for a while and just playing live poker for 12 hours a day. Like, of course, when you end up making the final table, it's all well and good, but if you are in another tournament and you play for 4 days or so and, Bing Cash or Bubble or something, it can wear on you a little bit, I'd say.
Do you have that kind of online player ADD where it's tough to sit down and focus at one table at a time and really just put everything into this one 10,000 or 15,000 buy-in event?
I like thinking about poker so much that even when I'm sitting at a live table, I'm just trying to think of different things I can do to trick my opponents or to gain an edge. I'm usually able to occupy myself. I'm not one to be bored and listening to my iPod or anything. I think I've adapted pretty well to live, and I don't think it's too slow. I just think it might become that way if I played it, every day for a year, just like online play would become monotonous if you did it every day.
Well, then let's talk about your schedule right now. I mean, you get up at the crack of 3 p.m. and you sit down in one of the bigger guarantees. I mean, how does it work for you? Do you play 8 tables at a time? I mean, what does Luke Staudenmaier do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I typically wake up around 11 or 12 or so, depending. That's usually on the weekdays when my girlfriend's around. I usually am forced to wake up a bit earlier, but my schedule is basically every Sunday $100 plus from the warm-up until 9 p.m. with the 200 rebuy and the 100 rebuy on full tilt. And Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday I play just like 8 tournaments a day for the most part.
Wait, you said $100 plus on those Sundays. I mean, nowadays that's like, what, 40 tournaments on a Sunday?
I think it's like 25. That's including Bodog and I think 4 on, Ultimate Bet, whether you choose to play there or not. And, all the starts, full tilt, and occasionally cake poker.
All right, well, actually, I want to talk about a recent final table you made in one of the bigger Sunday events on Bodog. You finished 3rd in the $100,000 guarantee, but I don't really want to talk to you about it because I'm going to bring in former Online Zone host Sean Patrick Green, who actually finished 2nd in the event, and he actually gave you a pretty big hit with a race situation late in the tournament. So I'm going to have him come in and talk to you about that.
All right, thanks for not wanting to talk to me.
How you doing, Luke?
I'm good, Sean. How are you?
Good. So we're going to talk about how I luck boxed my way past you in the Bodog 100K?
Certainly.
Well, first off, you came to the final table as one of the chip leaders, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that tournament was actually pretty soft at the end, I'd say, the final few tables.
Had you play that tournament often? Is it usually that soft once you get to the final table?
Yeah, I usually play that tournament nearly every week. I think it's actually the only tournament I actually play on Bodog anymore, but that was my first time final tabling it, actually.
And so on a scale of 1 to 10, just how soft of a soft spot was I at that final table?
How soft is it?
How soft was I at that final table?
Oh, I don't exactly remember a ton of details from the tournament.
So I obviously didn't blow your mind by how awesome I was, so that's one thing.
I only remember one or two hands that we played against each other, but were you at my table before the final table at all?
No, not really. A few times earlier on, but we didn't really meet back up until the final table. Well, so from my point of view, you were obviously the only truly, really recognizable name at the final table, aside from myself, of course. And so you had the big stack and you were on my right, and so that was just a huge, huge benefit to me. How was your position at the table in your opinion? Like, were you kind of struggling at all, or was it pretty much perfect?
Well, I can remember that it seemed like everyone was playing fit or fold pre-flop, so that I was able to raise a lot of pots pre-flop and take down the blinds a good many times, especially with 2 and 3 tables left. I remember that I was really able to play a ton of pots pre-flop, and that people weren't going all in very much over my raises.
Right.
But the final table, I think I just tried to play some small ball. I think I kind of flatted a raise with jacks, and then called down a couple streets on an ace-high board. People, I think, misplaced all their aggression against me. They, a couple times they would fire 2 barrels against me when it was quite clear that I was trying to get the showdown and didn't think they had anything. So I had some pretty simple situations, I should say, at that final table. It didn't seem like extremely skilled.
Well, it didn't seem extremely skilled, and also because of the way the blinds are in that kind of tournament, the blinds actually get pretty huge at the final table, so you were able to take advantage of that just because you knew that all of the players, aside from me, of course, were just really worried about moving up the spots in the money, and you could just take down those blinds, which were actually a pretty huge percentage of most people's stacks.
Yeah, I mean, it helps, when a final table consists of, 2 or 3 big stacks and a bunch of people, hovering around the same size stack, because it's going to allow you the chance to seal the blinds more. And actually, I mean, from an ICM perspective, it's actually correct for them to be folding a large amount as it is, no matter what my range. So.
Right. Well, and you were especially doing those kind of maneuvers when we got three-handed. It was you, me, and Shorty 25, and you pretty much raised every single hand regardless of your position. Was that just basically the same technique carrying over, but your range was even wider because we were three-handed, I assume?
I don't remember raising a lot from the small blind, but from the button I stand to raise 80-90% just because I'm in position, and when it gets three-handed, typically we should be a little deeper. I don't remember if we were exactly that deep, but people will play too many pots out of position against me.
Okay.
And try to be stubborn, so I'm much more likely to raise the button than I am the small blind.
Well, now let's talk about my favorite hand of the tournament, which was when I got it all in against you with pocket nines versus your ace-10. Was that pretty much an inevitable situation, three-handed, given our stacks and everything?
I don't remember the details. I think it might have been I raised the small blind and you shoved the big blind for 20 big blinds or so.
Let me see. Actually, I got it right here in front of me.
I'm kind of fuzzy on the details, but I think that's what it was.
You raised 38,000 pre-flop, yeah, and I shoved all in, and you pretty much insta-called. I shoved all in for 470,000. And
what were the blinds?
The blinds were at
10-20.
It was 7,500, 15,000, and you had 900,000 in your stack.
So
I
you
had
shoved for about 30 big blinds.
I shoved for about like half your stack.
Yeah, just the cooler in my book. I think you should be shoving an extremely wide range considering how aggressive I'd been at the final table. So I feel like, you know, a percentage of the time I'm going to have you dominated. You're probably going to be shoving some king, queen, king, jack type stuff.
And pretty much any ace in that spot.
Few aces I dominate maybe.
Okay. Now what about I think it was your final hand. You had 6-5 suited, and you ended up shoving. Let me actually get the details exactly right here.
I'm pretty sure I had 12 big blinds. I think I had 240.
Yeah, you had 230,000, and you shoved from the button. Is that pretty much? I mean, are you going to be doing that kind of thing pretty damn often, just because the blinds are so worthwhile to you, and we're going to fold most of the time, not wanting to double you up?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people will be calling too tight when I shove as it is, and I'd much rather win a pot uncontested three-handed when, well, especially in that hand, I think the big blind had maybe near the same amount as I did, maybe a little more. But
exactly, yeah. You guys had pretty close to the same stack.
That's
so
worth mentioning just because it'll tighten his range even more. So I can't raise fold with 12 big blinds, and I can't fold a hand like 5-6 suited that will have equity when I do get called by either of you.
All right, well, that's all I got for you. Congratulations on getting third rather than second or first, even though you came into three-handed play with the chip lead. I just happened to outplay you, you know, for most of that final table. So
clearly no variance involved in poker.
There's no variance involved in poker, and it's always usually the best man wins, which in this case was obviously
the
me.
best gets second place. Is that how it works?
The best gets second place. When they have a 4-1 chip lead heads up, that's what happens. The best, they usually just... Yeah, exactly. Ouch. I don't have much more to congratulate myself on. So thanks for doing this interview with us, Luke. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. I enjoy doing this.
And thank you guys for watching the Online Zone on Card Player TV.